really don't want you to know this stuff.
Right. And do you think it's in a different dimension, and that's why people don't see it as readily as anything else, or?
Interesting question. No, but I do believe that it perhaps is interdimensional in the sense that, and this is what happens, or what we're being told, and what seems to be happening, is that between the third and the fourth, because we're moving into the fourth,
right,
there's a movement from this dimension into the next one, and we are able to see more, consequently. In other words, if you're in the fourth dimension, you can see the third very clearly. If you're in the third, you can't really see the fourth. But as you move from one to the other, you're starting to, the veil is
lifted.
And but no, this is very real. In other words, it's happening in this dimension that we know of it, and a lot more is happening as well. And I have to say, some of the stuff that I'm getting now, we haven't even got on Camelot yet because I haven't been able to finish editing the interviews from just my last trip out there and the people I was talking to who have some fascinating information. But for the most part, in other words, chemtrails, let's say, they are obscuring the sky, so you can't see what's going on. And that's part of the reason for existence. There are a lot of other reasons as well. And there are, I don't know how they're doing it, but they are obscuring the night sky. They are able to use, all kinds of cloaking methods and so on and so forth.
Right. You were mentioning...
Actually, the reason this guy got the footage he did is because he had it on, I think he also had, more than one camera, and he also did, a time-lapse thing. And so things that you couldn't normally see. The camera sees what we can't see, as you may know. And I've had, actually, evidence of this, because I went out one time, I felt some reason to shoot at the sky when I was out at Malibu one time. And those shots that I captured of an ET ship actually creating a design in the sky for me is on my on a short that I made that's on Camelot under shorts.
Okay.
And if anyone's interested, you can take a look at that. A lot of people never go there, so they never see it.
Right.
But I couldn't see with my naked eye. I just knew something was going on, and I ended up, I guess it was psychic intuition. And simultaneously, there was what appeared to be some kind of bizarre takeoff from Vandenberg, which was north of me, I guess. But it seems to be more than just your average whatever they do from off of Vandenberg. It's a fascinating shot. They have great shots that if you point the camera at the sky, if you think something's going on, your camera can probably pick it up, even if your naked eye can't.
Interesting. I was, Cynthia Crawford, obviously. Yes. She's been on Project Camelot. But we were at her house here, and I believe it was in November, and we had been talking about the lights over Phoenix. And she lives right in front of Superstitious Mountain, I believe it's, or Superstition Mountain, I can't remember exactly. But we're sitting in her house, and we all kind of looked out the window, this bay window, and we saw these lights over Phoenix. And they started strobing in and out, different colors, like green and red. And there was 5 of them. And it was dusk, so I could see the planes coming in and out and helicopters all around these lights. And they were stationary in one spot. Basically, I got probably about 10 minutes of them as a shot with my video camera. And we put some stills. We made some stills out of it to put it up on my website. And so I know what it wasn't. I'm not quite sure what it was, but I'm assuming that it was either several spaceships or one great big one that all I could see was the lights strobing in and out.
Fabulous. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a lot of activity over there. And the Phoenix Lights, of course, there are videos about that and so on.
Right.
Great stuff.
Yeah, so it was a blessing to me that I actually got to witness some of these things and some of the experiences that you get. Like, of course, I live on the East Coast, and almost seems like when you travel out west, Arizona, Nevada, right around in that area, the energies are higher. You can almost feel them even when you land and you're in that part of the earth. And people are more open to what we're talking about here today, it seems like. I don't know if you've experienced this with different parts of the world and different people you've interviewed with your travels. Different parts of the world, it holds a lower energy per se, or even the people there have a different mindset.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, if we do a conference, and we have done conferences in Europe, we do get a chance to see what the people around us are sort of like and thinking and so on, in person. And obviously, we get tons of email at Camelot. So the awareness around the world, at least by indications of what we see on Camelot, and given that we're basically still on the fringe for as many people as we do have visiting our site, for all intents and purposes, in terms of the larger consensus reality, we still are on the fringe, but we do see a huge awakening out there.
Right.
And it's phenomenal, I have to say.
I see it myself. I have 1 minute. I hate to stop you here, but is there anything you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Oh, gosh. Well, keep an open mind, because you're going to need it in the coming years. And there are things going on out there. We are living in the times not unlike the Terminator movies,
right.
And even more. And if we move into the fourth dimension, as it seems we are, it's going to get even more bizarre. So, and I don't think it's all, hearts and flowers on the fourth dimension either, although it's certainly not as dark as this level. But at any rate, that's, I guess, what I would say. So just keep an open mind and keep exploring, keep investigating. Don't rule anything out. Okay, well said. Kerry, could you just hang on the line just for a second while I wrap things up here? Next week, we'll be discussing exploring higher consciousness and extraterrestrial reality with Marcia Schaefer. Thank you all for tuning into our show. If you like the show or dislike the show, any other questions, suggestions, or content for future shows, email me at universaltalking@gmail.com. Or if you missed the show and would like to listen to the content or would like to refer a friend, simply log on to my website at www.universaltalk.info. And this is Joe Mara signing off for Universal Talk, WPHB 1260, Country Roots.